Jon, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
What does disruption mean to you?
Oh, disruption is life-altering change in a corporation sense. Something that can destroy a company if they don't respond rapidly. But best, you're either a disruptor or disrupted. And it's best to be on the front end of that.
All right. From a leadership point of view, what are the challenges that disruption poses?
Oh boy, most of the world is not. There's a bell curve, an innovator's bell curve, and 3% of the people are innovators, 12% are early adopters. Then there's a majority that's like 68%, and then the last are the laggards. Companies have all those people, and so a lot of people are not willing to change very fast. And I think from a leadership perspective, the hardest thing to do is enable that small group of people that are the innovators and do it in a way that incorporates the whole company and that everyone will accept. But you have to do that today or you'll be too late to market on a lot of these digital changes.
Any specific example that you can give us of, like a leadership challenge that perhaps...
Well, the first company I started is ebags.com. They sell luggage, backpacks, 25 million bags sold. We just got a new leader, a guy named Mike Edwards, and I've never seen a company change so fast. And I think it was all because of one person, the CEO, who got everyone on board with a single mission. They defined together 6 initiatives that they're going after, so it's a lot to do. But the company helped build those initiatives together, and they're all forward-looking. They're looking out 3 to 5 years, aimed at a big vision. And he enabled them. Then he didn't tell them what to do. He gave them the resources, gave them the ability to fail. But really, as long as they're charging towards those goals, they're going to win. Anyway, that company changed from basically not growing very fast to very rapid, way into the double digits growth within months because of that attitude. And so leadership, the CEO embracing it was critical.
Okay, which brings us to planning.
Yeah.
How important is planning, and can one plan for a digital enterprise?
Planning, companies have to be organized. I'm an entrepreneur. I love the chaos, I guess, associated with that in the beginning stages. But as companies grow, they have to be organized. And so I do believe in a strategic planning capability where you're actually looking out, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, at where the world's headed. And today it's into robotics, it's into artificial intelligence, it's into Internet of Things. And so if you aren't planning for that, knowing how it's going to affect your industry, you're going to be the tail on the dog, just trying to catch up. So the planning itself, I think, is important so that you can drive the change in the big picture. But then what happens is, as you're going toward that ultimate vision, I think you have to leave it up to the teams to experiment their way there. So I think the planning at that point becomes a lot more experimental, a lot less spreadsheet driven. And I think a great example of that is Amazon. They wrote in their investor letter a year ago that in 2014, about 2013, they ran 1,976 web lab tests and experiments that year. And that was up from 1,000 the year before that and 500 the year before that. So the experimentation, as you're trying to get to that vision, I think is critical.
Okay. Does technology drive digitization, or do you think it's vice versa?
Oh boy. I think consumers these days are driving digitization because they're adopting it at a faster rate than ever. I heard a Forrester analyst yesterday talk about hyper adoption, and he's right. The consumers are driving it because when it's out there, they either accept it at large scale or they don't. And the other thing is competitiveness is driving it. So I guess the technical capability of creating digitization is driving it to some extent, but then it's these super creative people in companies, in startups, that are taking those capabilities and making them available to consumers quickly, and then that drives it back into organizations that aren't doing it yet.
Okay, the one big disruption that you see in 2016.
I think a lot will be around Internet of Things. That would be my choice, primarily because companies like my old one, eBags, used to operate with transactions in mind. That's what they really cared about. And now my new company, Iterate.ai, it's going in and helping companies like eBags create these Internet of Things products that will then communicate with, machine to machine, machine to phone, phone to person, and it'll provide a data intelligence source, a knowledge source for the companies to know how to communicate with their customers. So it becomes a back and forth communication stream. I think the biggest thing is companies are going to need to be very, very careful with that data and use it so that the companies feel like, or customers feel like they're respected.
So from the consumer's point of view, what will change?
From a consumer's point of view, I think products will become more useful. And a lot of that will be coming through like artificial intelligence that's growing at a super rapid pace. But the ability for computers to make decisions today, to not to go beyond just making predictions, but to inform the way companies can operate with consumers will change the way that interaction occurs. So, and consumers are going to get smarter products. Heck, the autonomous car, that's right around the corner. I just saw today that the Google car, the autonomous car, is now accepted as a human being, basically by the government in the United States, and so now the computer is equal to a human, at least as a driver.
Okay, Jon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.